Hello friends, welcome to It's a Ootsy Thing and welcome to my kitchen. Hey, today I'm making a German chocolate cake and I'll explain all my reasoning for doing that as I go along. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm first going to start with my wet ingredients. I will have this recipe at the end of the video, but I've got buttermilk and eggs. I'm going to stir that together a little bit. Then I'm going to add my butter, and then I'm going to add my sugar. Then I'm going to add some cocoa. I'm going to stir this a little bit with my spoon, and then I'm going to use my mixer. Two of our grandsons came over last week, and last year a little gal came from Germany and was an exchange student at the school where they attend, and our grandson Caleb became very good friends with Mia. And they came by the other night. Just so happened that they came by about supper time, and so I had them stay for supper, and I got to visit with Mia a little bit, and we got to talking about food, of course. She's going to go to school to become a pastry chef, and I told her she'll have to be sure and come back and visit me and give me some tips. And as we were talking about the food, she said American food is not anything like German food. And I said, have you ever had a German chocolate cake? And she said, I don't even know what that is. I said, I will make you one. Well, I have in my pantry a GG snack cabinet, and so the kids know that they can always go to the snack cabinet and get something. I happen to have some brownies in there, and they all got one, and she took a couple of bites and said, I just can't do this, it's too sweet. And I said, well, tell me about your food a little bit. And she said, y'all's food is so sweet here. It's nothing like what we have. And she said, I will give you some of our snacks and give you some German chocolate, some real German chocolate. And my grandson said, it's nothing like what we have here in America. And you won't like American chocolate after you eat the German chocolate. So I'm taking this cake over there to her today, and I'm going to get some real German chocolate. And we will see how it is. We had lunch with some friends yesterday, and they had a foreign exchange student who happened to be from Germany a few years ago. And she said the same thing. Here, try this German chocolate. It's nothing like American chocolate. And they said it's not. It's nothing like it. It's so much better. So we are going to see. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this with my mixer. This is all my wet ingredients. Oh, except for one thing, I better add my vanilla. About forgot that. And I will mute this so it doesn't blow you away. Now I'm ready to add my dry ingredients, which is flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So needless to say, I'm kind of excited about going over there today and trying some of her snacks and real German chocolate. Now I'm just going to add my cake mix to my cake pans that are lined with parchment paper. Y'all, I forgot to mention one thing. I forgot to add the boiling water. There's a cup of boiling water that goes in that. So don't do like I did and forget the water. I had to get my batter back out and add that cup of water. So don't forget the water. While the cakes are baking, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my icings. And we know this is where the goodness is in the German chocolate cake. And this time I'm going to try to remember all the ingredients. Not forget anything. I'm adding my butter to a saucepan. I had this in my freezer, and so it's not completely softened yet, so I had to kind of scrape it out a little bit, but for this it's not going to be a problem. Get my heat turned on. I'm going to let that melt just a little bit before I add anything else in. It's not going to take it very much to get melted. And I'll bring the camera over here so you can watch what I'm doing. I'm going to add some evaporated milk. I'm going to add some egg yolks. You want to make sure that you do separate the whites from the yolks. My oven just went off. I'm also making some banana bread. We're going to be going on vacation here in a couple of weeks, and I've been wanting to make some things to take with us, so I'm going to make this banana bread and then put it in the freezer and take it with us. We'll be gone for about 3 weeks, and we're going to take our RV and also our youngest grandson, and we're excited about that. All right, I'm going to add brown sugar. And white granulated sugar. Now I'm going to let this just simmer on the stove till it starts to thicken. Right now I've got this on a medium heat, and I will just watch it. I certainly don't want it to burn. I'll shut that timer off so it's not beeping at us. So I'm hoping while we're on our vacation I'll still be able to do some videos. We're going to be staying with some family, and her and I were talking, and she said, well, maybe we could do some videos out of some of her cookbooks, and I thought that was a great idea. So if it works out, I will try to do a video with her. She's my aunt, and she is a great cook. We always enjoy going and visiting her and my uncle. So I'm just going to let this simmer for a while and just begin to thicken. This is beginning to thicken a little bit. I did turn my heat down on low because I don't want it to scorch or burn. And so I'm just going to let it boil just a little bit longer and get just a little bit thicker. And then I will add pecans, vanilla, and coconut. You can see it's getting thicker, and that's what we want. I've shut my heat off. Got my pecans. coconut and vanilla. Just going to give that a good stir, make sure everything's mixed up really good. Now this does need to completely cool, and it'll thicken up just a tiny bit as it cools. And so I will remove it off of this burner here on my stove, even though it's a gas stove and it's no longer running. But I'll move it off of there so it can cool completely, because the cakes need to be cooled and this icing needs to be cooled before it's placed on the cake. Now I also need to make my chocolate frosting for the cake, and so that's what I'm doing now. So I've got softened butter, cocoa, vanilla, and evaporated milk. I'm going to give that a good mix. In this bowl I have 3 cups of powdered sugar measured out. I don't know if I'll need it all or even if I might need more. I won't know until I start adding everything together. Okay, so you saw that I added a little bit more evaporated milk, so I added just a little bit more powdered sugar. I only used probably 2.5 cups of the powdered sugar, so you'll just kind of have to see what you need whenever you're making your icing. You know, icing when you're adding powdered sugar is kind of like the chips and queso ratio. Sometimes you have more than you need of one thing and not enough of the other, and back and forth. So you just have to get it to the right consistency of icing. And I think I've got it just perfect. Do you all lick the beaters? I'm just a big kid at heart. Mother always let us lick the beaters. So I still lick the beaters. Okay, our cakes have come out of the oven, they've cooled, our icing is cooled, and now we're ready to ice the cakes. First thing I'll do is take my chocolate icing, put on the first cake. Then I'm going to take some of that yummy pecan and coconut icing. Now I'm going to take my other cake and this one has fallen apart some. That's not good. But yay for icing. It'll all be covered up. Now we're just going to ice the rest of the cake. This cake has fully cooled off, but it is sure kind of coming apart. It's very moist. And I'm hoping that Mia will like it. She may think it's way too sweet since she's not real crazy about real sweet stuff. But maybe she'll taste a little bit of it and like a small piece of it. I know my grandsons will like it. Whoops. Don't do that. Okay, we've got that chocolate icing on there. And thank goodness for icing because it covers up those imperfections in the cake. So don't stress about it. If your cake is really moist like this one and it was kind of coming apart, you're going to cover all that up with icing. So it's no big deal. It's still going to look pretty. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands. All right, now we'll take the rest of that coconut icing. I want to scrape all of that goodness out, so I'm going to use a spatula. It's such a pretty day here today. Just gorgeous. It's only in the 70s. I've got my windows open in my house. There's overcast. They'll say we'll have rain off and on all week. And it's just beautiful. Okay, now I'm just going to smear the rest of that icing over that cake. Kind of let it come down on the sides. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit off of this plate so it doesn't look quite so messy. But you do what you want to do. If it was staying here, I wouldn't worry about it, but since I'm taking it to someone, I want it to look pretty. I really butchered up that part right there. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me in my kitchen today. I hope that you will give a homemade German chocolate cake a try. It's so much better than out of the box. And I hope that you have a wonderful week this week. We'll see you on the next video.